Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to Learning with Friends. I am Pat Fairless from Fairless Stamp and Flair, and today I'm going to show you how to make a Tower Fun Fold card. It is the last Thursday of the month. This is pre-recorded because I am probably actually sitting in the dentist chair right now getting my teeth cleaned, if all goes per plan. So I pre-recorded this, but it's a last Thursday of the month, so we do a fun fold on the last Thursday, and today I'm going to do the tower fold. I hope I have everything. I'm not used to making a whole card. Maybe I'll get used to eventually I'll get used to that and have everything, but we're going to give it a go. And if I'm missing something, well, we'll just have to wing it, I guess. So let's flip my camera down and get started. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Tower Fun Fold. This is what it will look like. Here's my little template. It sits like this, so you see it like this. And this is kind of what we're going to follow. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut out the card base and show you how to do that. I will put a link down below to a tutorial that'll have all the a template in there and so on. So you don't have to worry about writing down directions. They'll all be in that template with the dimensions. And we're going to make a Christmas card today. And this is the card we're going to make. This is the tutorial for that card. And here is the template for this fun fold. Now, don't let it scare you because, yeah, it looks a little complicated, but it's really not that bad. And I think once you see it, you'll know that. I am going to be using the Sentimental Christmas bundle from the new mini, which goes live on September 4th. And this is the stamp set. There is a coordinating die set, which has the little stocking and the holly branch. It's got this little bow up here, which is cute, and of course the little candle, and then there's some little branches with some nice sentiments. So we're going to be using this, and I'm also going to be using the Designer Series paper from that suite, and that's what I really wanted to take a minute and show you. This paper is really cute. It's very traditional patterns, I would say, for Christmas with a little bit of a twist, maybe on some of the colors. Here we've got some shades of Pretty Peacock. But I thought I'd show you this. This Designer Series paper is actually the paper that's featured as Stampin' Up's Give Back program. And so for every set that's sold of this paper, just the paper, they give back $3 to children's literacy. So it's really pretty. I love this one with the little lantern on here, and there's trees down at the bottom. Cute little reindeer. And I'm gonna stick in here some pretty trees. You can see the colors are really pretty. Here we're getting into some more of the traditional reds. The colors in here are Poppy Parade and Cherry Cobbler are the reds. There's some ribbon. And this particular little stocking does fit and is cut out by that die. And if we flip it over, love this one with the candy canes, border all the way around the edge. Here's some shaded spruce. Christmas trees, we're going to be using this one, so I'm going to set this one aside. Here's some stripes. And here are some shaded spruce and Pretty Peacock, shades of Pretty Peacock stripes. We're also going to be using that one, so I'm going to set that aside. Some pecan pie snowflakes, and here's some of the candles. I don't think the die for the candles actually cuts any of these out though. So that's the paper, $3 for every set of designer paper sold goes back to children's literacy from Stampin' Up. So let's go ahead and get started. The hardest part here is me getting this into my frame so you can see it. And I'm going to use a shaded spruce as my card base. And this is what we're going to cut out right now. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So we want a piece of cardstock that is 8.5. Sorry, it is actually 8 1/4. So you probably can't see. I'm lining this up on the 8 1/4 here. Instead of our traditional 8.5 or normal 8.5, it is 8 1/4 by 5.5. And I think it's pretty close. Yep, I've already got this at 5.5. So now I'm going to get my cutting blade out of the way, and we are going to score this at 1 inch, 2 inches. So we'll just go down, score it at 1, 2, 3, and then 5 1/4. And you could just flip this over and do it on 1, 2, 3 on the other side. I'm just used to doing it this way, so I'm doing it at 5 1/4, 6 1/4, which is right here in the middle of our little folded out seam, and 7 1/4. So simple, right? Now we're going to rotate it. I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to close this. We're going to rotate it, and so we have our score lines in here, and at 1 inch and 2 inch, I'm going to cut from the top score line to the bottom, and then the same on this side. So we're going to put this at 1 inch, and I am going to cut. Now I'm going to use my cutting blade. I'm not sure, but on the sides here, you can see the dimensions, or you can just look where the score lines are and cut. And I should probably put on my reading glasses. I'm going to pick this up because I don't want to drag it down to the other one because it will cut. So I tend to just drop it in between there somewhere, push down and go up to the top score line and down to the bottom score line. Okay. Now I'm going to slide it over to 2 inches, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to repeat what I just did. Just cutting in between. So here's the bottom one, pick it up, get it to the top, push up to the top score line. I've got to get my head in the way here. And down to the bottom score line. Now it's probably hard to see to some extent, but we're going to repeat it on the other side. Now here I just flip it over, so we're going to put it on the 1 inch, and I am going to go from the bottom score line to the top and pick it up, go down below, bottom to the top. It's at 1 inch, and we're going to repeat again at 2 inch. And then our card base is ready to go. Okay. That is the card base. Now we're going to cut this, or we're going to fold it. And on the drawing here, I do show you where there are some sections we're not going to fold. It is scored, but we won't fold. And then we have mountains and valleys. Mountains and valleys don't fold. So sometimes it's easier to just kind of look at, and I recommend just make yourself a little template out of some scrap cardstock. This is an old retired So Saffron color. And you can see, if I look at this side, I want these to be mountains, and down here to be valleys, and then on the inside to be valleys. So mountain, 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 valley, 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 and here, this would be a mountain, okay? So I found it easiest if I just kind of lay this alongside of me and use it as my guide. And I want to fold this here, and I want to fold, so I want this one up, I want this one up, and this one, and then I want the ones in the middle down, okay? And what I found is once I get that started, what was easiest for me is if I just take this and push it forward and bring it down. And now take your bone folder and give these a good crease. And I like to crease it on the back as well. And in here. Okay, so that side's done. Now the other side is exactly the same. This is going to go down, up. If I started in the center ones, it kind of seemed to work best, just to get them started like that, and then lay it flat down and to bring this forward. Just bring the whole assembly forward. And there we go. Now that wasn't too bad, right? That is basically, the fun fold is now done. And we have our card base. Okay, and all that's left is decorating, but now we got to cut some more pieces to decorate. So I indicated I was going to use these 2 pieces of designer paper, and I like to put mats on here, so I'm going to use a basic beige, picking up the basic beige from here, and we're going to cut some basic beige mats. So let me grab my basic beige and get my trimmer back here. And I will grab my tutorial. If we go to the front, you can see here, I have all the dimensions. Here was the card base we just did. Now we got basic beige, and we're going to cut 2 side mats for this side, each of these sides, and then we're going to cut pieces across here. So the 2 side ones, and I also decorate them on the back, they are the same size, so we're just going to cut those at the same time. Those are 5 3/8 by 7/8. And again, you don't really need to memorize this. It will be on your, I think one of these is already 5 7/8. 5 3/8. This one's maybe 5 3/8. I thought I checked. Yeah, it's 5 3/8. So now I want these all to be 7/8 of an inch wide. So I am just going to cut these, and I'm going to cut 4 of them, 2 for the front and 2 for the back. Some of this I probably could have pre-cut for you and save some time. You can fast forward through this. You get the idea. They don't like to watch me cut. You won't hurt my feelings. Just go ahead and fast forward through cutting. Okay, so now we're going to cut these 3 center pieces, and you can see these are the same width, top and the bottom. This one is a little wider, so you just have to pay attention, and these are going to be 4 inches wide, but I am going to go ahead and I'm going to cut the widest one first, and the widest one is 1 3/8. So if I put this at 1 3/8, and then I want one of them. These are actually 4 and an 1/8. Not 4, 4 and an 1/8. And I need one of those, so that's for the center. And then the top and the bottom ones are 7/8. I have enough. Okay, so let's cut this. Well, let's do the 7/8 over here. one more 7/8. These are 4. And these I want 4 1/8. And 1 1/8. Okay, some leftovers, that's fine. All right, so now I have my mats cut. Let's bring this back in here just to keep track. We've got those cut, and I'm going to cut my designer series paper. So on the side, I'm going to put trees. So let's do the trees first, and the trees are, bring this in. I've got Sentimental Christmas, my side pieces. I need 2 for the front. Those are 3/4 by 5 1/4. So let's just cut this at 3/4. And again, I need these for the back as well, so I'm going to cut 2 of them. I might as well cut the back while I'm at it. I don't know if you can see that in my in frame. Let me check my camera here. I think you are. It'd be nice if I could zoom in, but I do not have that capability. So I am cutting this at 3/4. And out of my way, and now I want these at 5. And what did I say? 1/4, right? So let's just cut them both at once at 5 1/4. And the other 2 at 5 1/4. All right, and now in the center, so now we have our side pieces here, and I'm going to cut these 3 here in the center, and I'm going to use the stripes. So I need the one in the center, which is the little bit wider one, the center one. I need it to be 4 by 1 1/4. So I am going to cut this at 1 1/4. Okay. And then I'm going to cut one of them at 4. And there's my center one. And now the other 2, I want those to be 7/8. So let's just cut it down to 7/8 because there's enough left here for 2. Right? No, I want those to be 3/4. No, I don't. I need to look. All right, the center one, I have 4 by 1 1/4. The upper and the lower, I want 4 by 7/8, which doesn't sound right because didn't I cut this at 7/8? I did. It's got to be by 4 3/4. I will have to fix that on my tutorial. Good thing was if I cut it wrong, I'd still had enough left. Okay, so there's my 3/4. And I want these to each be 4. Which should be, since I had 12-inch paper, they should both be 4, right? Yep, they are. Okay. That cutting is now done. So I'm just going to go ahead and assemble this. We could wait and get everything cut, but sometimes I need a break from cutting. And right now I feel like I need a break from cutting. So, nice short one. 1, 2, oh no, here it is. Okay, so where's my seal? And I am going to bring in just a piece of scrap paper here so I do not get adhesive on my little working spot. So it's going. You know, I have best luck going sideways. Don't know why. I think I mention this every time, but when I adhere down, I have better luck going sideways. Although I have to say that one wasn't really all that straight. And I'm doing Christmas cards. You're going to be seeing more Christmas cards because Christmas is going to be here before you know it. And I don't want 1st of December to come and be short on cards. So I have been making them for a while. Okay, there's 2 for the front. And let's go ahead and do the 2 for the back. All right. And get this one on here. And now let's go ahead and do these. So I've got 1. Okay, those are the 3 we got to get done. This is a really cute. I like the fun fold. It stands up by itself. Great for people to display, especially those that like to display their Christmas cards. Send it to somebody special and they can put it out and display it during the season. It does have a lot of different pieces. That's the once you get the cutting done, though, everything goes together pretty easy. Just and use whatever kind of adhesive you have. If you prefer liquid adhesive, go for it. All right, so now let's do the front. It is easiest, I find, to just lay this flat and start adhering these down. Oh, once in a while, that thing doesn't want to roll for me. And this is our little bit wider one, so we're gonna lay this one here in the center. And once again, I really should be putting my readers on for this. And we're just gonna center it in that center part here. Okay, so it will be like this when we're done. And we want 2, one at the top and one at the bottom. The camera is right where my head wants to be. Yeah, I don't think I got that one in the right spot, but you know what? It'll be fine because we're going to add some more decoration on the front and we will never know it. And I didn't get that nicely centered. And let's go ahead and add the 2 on the side. Oh, I'll make sure I get it right side up. I guess I could flip the card over if I got it wrong, right? Just get them going both the same way. We have one tree going one way and one going the other. All right, got that going. Okay, and there's how our front is so far. Let's go ahead and add these 2 pieces on the sides for the back, because our sentiment sheet is going to be here in the center, because really on the front there is no place to put it. So I want to make sure I've got them going the right way. I don't want my trees upside down. Obviously, if you only need to worry about that if you have directional paper. Okay. All right. So now we're going to put something here in the center, and I'm just going to put a couple of squares of Poppy Parade cardstock. And I'm going to grab my trimmer again. And my Poppy Parade are 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. You can see that here on the tutorial. So this needs to be 2 5/8. Make sure I got it straight. And we'll put these two down. You could cut these with dies. I have 2 more cards I'm going to show you that I used a little bit different ways to decorate the front. So I'll show you some options. Now we're going to go ahead and adhere these on here. And you want to make sure that your points don't stick beyond. So just kind of pay attention to that, and then just try to center it side to side, same way on the bottom. Center it side to side as best you can, lining up your points. So keep the bottom point above the bottom edge of the card. You don't want to get to a problem where it doesn't fit in your envelope, right? There we go. Oh, and I didn't do that right. So don't do what I just did and put the stuff all the way around. We'll have to fix that. I can take that off. What I really want to do is just down the centers. Otherwise, when I close it, it'll stick itself shut. But I can get that off. Okay, it's pretty good. Okay, let me see if I can. I have my little elbow right now. My finger works better. Okay. I don't want to glue it closed. So usually if you just take your finger and wipe, that's the good thing about using seal is you can usually just roll it off with your fingers. So I think we're good. There we go. So now in the center, I have a die cut from Shaded Spruce that I used the Thoughtful Expressions dies, and I used this second larger, I call it sort of rectangular one, and I've gone ahead and I've already die cut that for us. We are going to stamp the holly with black memento ink, a piece of basic white scrap. And then that can be die cut with the die. And I colored those with Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to quickly show you how I did this. I took, for the leaves, I used Shaded Spruce. And I just I took the darker one first, and I colored in some of the little seams, or whatever you want to call them, the veining in the leaves. And where's my glasses? I do need my glasses. Now I'm not going to color all this for you. I am a slow colorer. But this is how I did it. I started with the dark, which is not usually how I do it. Usually I start with the light, then put a coat of dark on where I want highlights, and then come back with the light. But there was a lot on here, so this seemed to work fine. And it gave it just enough of shading in those seams. Okay, to give it a little bit of highlight. And then I took some Poppy Parade, and here I started with the lightest one and just colored in my little berries, holly berries here. This is the light one. And then I took the dark one, the bullet point end, and I just kind of went back at those areas where they show some shading, and I just touched it with my pen or my marker. So I colored those rather than making you sit through all that, and it is die cut already, and we're just going to attach this with some dimensionals. If I can find my dimensionals. Maybe I don't have my dimensionals here. That wouldn't be the first time. Okay, so I would attach this with some dimensionals. In fact, let me go grab my dimensionals. I will be right back. All right, I am a dimensional holic. And I could just put this on here and make it flat, but I know me, I would not be happy with that. So I gotta have my dimensionals. And we'll just kind of put this on here. And then I also wanted to pop this up. You wouldn't have to do that. That's totally up to you. Again, like I said, I'm a bit of a dimensional holic. I think the dimension adds a lot to a card. And these fun folds, they do have plenty of dimension, honestly, without the dimensionals. So do what you like. If you're not a person that is crazy about dimensionals, or you don't like the added postage that you do have to put on as your cards get thicker, then just leave the dimensionals off. That's fine. All right. Part of this bundle is this pretty shaded spruce ribbon. So we're going to make a little bit of a ribbon here. And I am not a good ribbon maker or bow maker. I'm just going to make a bow. I use this little tool called a bowl. It's called a Bow Easy. This is about the only way I can make decent bows. I don't get the whole bunny ear thing. I've had people show me bunny ears. I cannot do bunny ears. So I use my Bow Easy. And all you have to do here then is just wrap this around, stick it down through the center, pull it through, and then bring it around and up and stick it in through here. Now, maybe that looks complicated. It really isn't. Once you've done it once, you pretty much got it. Sometimes you do have to play with it just a bit to make sure it doesn't twist funky on you. But then you just pull it fairly snug, stick it back through that hole there in the middle, and pull it tight. And you pull it off your little Bow Easy, and you have a perfect little bow every time. So now I would normally put this on here with a glue dot, and I see I don't have any glue dots over here either. Boy, I came unprepared for adhesives. So I am just going to use a tiny little dimensional, and we will stick this up here and trim off my ribbon tails. And for a sentiment, I am using this sentiment from the stamp set called Wishing. It says, "Wishing you joy and happiness." And I want to use just the wishing you on the front, and then I'm going to put joy and happiness on the back. So the way I did this was I used my Stampin' Write marker, just my basic black one, and I'm coloring it with that marker. So that way I only get that portion. And the easiest way I found to do when you just want a little tiny skinny one is just stamp it along the bottom edge. Sometimes if it's not straight, you have to do it twice, but that's close enough, right? And take your trimmer and just lay it on your trimmer. And then you can make that as skinny as you want. And I think I made it about 5/16 of an inch, but sometimes it comes out a little different. So there we go. And I can take my paper snips, just cut a little angle on each end. Add a couple more little dimensionals on here. I'll make sure I got them on the right side, because it's going to hang over the edge. If you're wondering why I have green on my dimensionals, it's so that you can see when you put them on here. If you see green, it means you forgot to pull off the backing. I've done that a lot of times where I'm like, I want this stick, I want it stick. And so we're just going to stick this right down here and let it kind of hang off. Now we need a few little drop gems just for some sparkle, I think. And these are the gems that come with this suite. They're called Druzy Adhesive Backed Embellishments. And can you see how they sparkle? I haven't even opened them up yet. So I'm just going to cut this off and pull them out. I think I'm going to use the clear ones or the silver ones. They're kind of gold and silver, I would say. And I think I'm not crazy about the gold on there, so I'm just going to use the little silver ones. And where do I want them? Maybe down here. Put a couple down here. And maybe I'll use one of the bigger ones up here on top. There, it just kind of sets that off, gives it a little bit of sparkle, right? Now all we have left is the back. And so on the back, again, we need to cut some cardstock. I've got stuff laying everywhere. So on the back of the tutorial, it shows what the cutting for the back is. And I've got a basic beige mat. Now I do have those side mats over here listed on the back, but we've already cut those. And so on the center, I've got 5 3/8 by 2 1/8. And that is basic beige. So this is long enough, 5 3/8. That is 5 3/8 by 2 1/8. Okay, there's my center mat. And now we need a piece of basic white. And the basic white. So we want to have 5 1/4 by 2. So let's just take a 2-inch piece off from here. Two by 5 1/4, which is just an 1/8 less than the beige. Okay. And I am going to use the other piece of this joy and happiness. Now, I do need to clean this a little bit here. Scrap paper though. Need my chamois. Oh, and in looking for my chamois, I found the glue dots. All right, let's clean this, get that off. And I'm gonna take this basic white and I am gonna stamp, because this doesn't fit the joy and happiness, I have to do joy and happiness. So I am just gonna stamp the and sign first. And we're gonna, then I'm just gonna color that little and sign here with my Stampin' Right marker. This is a good, just a good hint anytime you want to use just a partial or a portion of a sentiment. And let's get that here in the, out in the middle. And clean this off again. And now I am going to stamp this twice, once in red or Poppy Parade. Let's stamp this on here. And Poppy Parade. Clean it with my chamois. Am I the only one who waits to get my chamois all inky? I do. I don't know why. It's what it's for, right? And we're going to stamp it once more in Shaded Spruce. Okay. And we'll clean this off before I lay it someplace where I should probably clean this one too. Because I could easily lay my nice completed card there, and then I wouldn't have that Christmas card. I messed it all up. All right. Almost there. Almost there. So all I want off from here are the joy and the happiness. So we're just going to take our paper snips and cut these out. Use one red, one green. Doesn't even matter if you cut them straight. You can cut them crooked. And let's get the happiness. And I need my glasses because I got one more little piece up here I need to trim. And it gets that tiny. Okay. And let's trim this along here. Okay. All right. Almost there. Let's just use a little liquid adhesive here. I think the liquid stuff would probably work a little bit easier on these little pieces. And I'm going to put joy. And happiness. And I still see a little smidgen of green here that I just really don't want up there. Okay, good enough. Now let's go ahead and put this on our basic beige. I'm going to go back to my seal. maybe. If it's gonna cooperate with me, I will. Sometimes it just needs a little help and it's rolling. I think I don't always push hard enough. Put this on our mat. Okay. This out of the way. Stuff everywhere. Oh my, if you could see my desk. You probably wonder how she even finding a place to work. It's kind of the story of my life. Even when I'm at my normal space where I have more room, I always feel like I work in like anybody else. I work in like a little 1 by 1 foot piece. Even when I have a whole big table, everything's like right here. All right. Okay, card is done. I've got a little bit of adhesive on here that I don't want, so these little adhesive erasers are wonderful things. And there is our completed card. Now, the only thing that's not finished is we don't have a pretty envelope. So I did cut a piece. I'm going to use the trees. Hang in there. We're almost done. And then I will show you the other 2 cards. Like I said, they are a little bit different than this one. They're not Christmas for one thing, but I also decorated them a little differently. So, but we can't have a naked envelope. That's just not right. So, just gonna add a little bit of adhesive on my flap here. Line up my designer paper. And I go just a tiny smidge down from the top edge. That keeps it from getting caught in the post office machinery. Go around here. And we will be done, and you get to see the other 2 cards. I hope I can find them underneath all the mess. Oh my goodness, that's even buried over there. Okay. So there we go. There is our Tower Fun Fold card. It wasn't too bad, right? Just let me say my mess out of the way over here. Let me see if I can unbury the other 2 cards. Okay, the next card, I use the Country Flowers stamp set and the Country Woods and Country Lace Designer Series paper for the card. And rather than a couple of squares, I die cut circles. Those circles were made, what are they called, those dies? I think they're Spotlight, something on Spotlight dies. Don't have the name of them right handy here. But there we go. That's card number 2. So don't just think you got to do squares like we did today. Use anything you want. The back, I just did a mat, just like this one. I actually tied my little petal pink ribbon around one of the legs of the Tower Fold. So, and the envelope has the Country Woods paper on it. So there is card number 2. And card number 3 is made with the textured floral stamp set. And this designer series paper is Regal Winter. This is another design or another collection that is in the Fall Mini. And this is really, really pretty paper. It's not It's just got some gorgeous, rich colors called Winter Regal, and it's a lot of very regalish colors. But I chose the wild wheat for this with some cherry cobbler flowers. And this is some wild wheat ribbon that's also in the mini, which is really pretty ribbon. So there's my back. And I had a little scrap left, so rather of this plaid here in the front. So I just put that on there. And that is card number 3. So there we go. We have 3 cards. Leave me a note. Tell me which one you think you like the best. All made exactly the same. I will have a link to the tutorial with, I'll probably put this one in the tutorial, or maybe this one. They're all the same. It doesn't matter. I'll have a link to one of these in there that will give you this template on the back here, which is the critical thing that you really need on how to make the fun fold itself. So that's that. Let me flip back to myself. We made it. All right, made it. I don't know how long that took. Probably too long. If you fast forwarded, good for you. I probably would have done the same while people were cutting, as long as I knew I could get to the dimensions in a tutorial or a template. I'd be happy. So, but I hope you like that. It's a very cool, fun fold. I think it's impressive to share with someone special. It might not be one you want to do all your Christmas cards out of, but 1 or 2 for those special people that you know love them and appreciate them. So have a great day, and I will see you next week with something else. Have a good one. God bless.